Hey, this is Michael Sandoval with M.U.S.E, and we are here inside our offices in Pasadena, inside Blank Spaces, and we just recently saw Thor Ragnarok last week. We're recording this a little bit earlier, but we saw it last week. What did you think of the film?
Well, first off, I thought it was well done. Obviously, Marvel MCU is known for delivering really well stories, especially when they're based on comics. You know, with the scenes, you know, the sets, everything was well done. The characters, obviously very well developed, based off of the Stan Lee comics. The one thing I did not like was the fact that it seemed to me that it took a little too long to get to the plot. Which I know afterwards we saw, it's like the first thing I said to you was like a little too long. Obviously it's Thor, we all know Thor has that kind of, you know, enjoyable sense of humor, the way he is. So the journey to get to the plot, it was enjoyable. Personally for me, I wouldn't have minded if some things were taken out, just because it's like, you know, I didn't think they were necessary. But even though they kept certain scenes and certain moments in there, it was still enjoyable. I just would have preferred to see a lot more of the plot, because I'm a huge Kate Blanchett fan, and when you guys see her in this film, you are just going to be blown away by her performance, and you'll probably see, yeah, we want more of her, not so much everything else.
Yeah. Like, to me, I thought it was it was slow at points, but it needed to be slow at certain points to tell more of the story. But overall, I mean, it's so colorful. It's meant to be seen in 3D. This film was pretty much, you could tell, we didn't see it in 3D, we saw it in a standard format. And when you see it, you could tell this film looks like it was made for 3D with all the visuals that are around. It is amazing. It's an awesome film. I thought it was great. I thought the story was great. It does slow down in certain parts, but then it picks up really easily again. You don't have to watch the other two Thor movies to get into it, which I liked, because out of the three Thor movies that have been around, the first Thor movie is still my number one. This is definitely my second favorite, and then Dark World's my third. I just loved it. I think the acting was great. There's great funny moments. There's great moments where you really get into the cast. You really pull for the cast. I liked it. We're trying not to get into too many spoilers, because there is a lot of spoilers.
There's a lot, definitely. I think just taking the movie, like you were saying with the story, I think, and like I know we've talked about this a lot, because we obviously enjoy a lot of comics. The one thing that Marvel does very well with the cinematic universe is that their story plot, it's not easy, but it's simple to follow and understand. You don't get confused. You don't ever wonder, well, why was this brought up? It has no relation to this. The plot, the story, the plot, it's very simple. Everything else added on just makes it better. Yeah. With the jokes, there was a lot of questionable humor on there, and I know when we were watching it, a couple of seats down, there was a dad with his kid, and whenever certain jokes were being made, you know, harmless, but still as an adult, you can kind of see where they're going with it. I would just kind of look to the side and be like, a little boy noticing, but very enjoyable with the humor. It wasn't forced humor, especially, because I think anyone can tell when you watch movies when it's forced humor, when, you know, it's like, that's not really funny, but they're pushing for that laughter. It seemed very natural, especially in moments when there was like moments of tensity and, you know, of just silence, like things that any one of us would do to break that silence or break that awkward moment or to lighten up the mood. It seemed very natural, the humor, which has me wondering, you know, how much of it is scripted and how much of it could be improv. Because we've all heard, you know, how the actors are behind set. Chris Hemsworth obviously loves to joke around, same with Mark Ruffalo, so it's like, how much of this, I was wondering, is improv and how much could be scripted? Except how natural.
I wish we could tell you, get into that a little bit more, because we did attend the press conference for Thor Ragnarok, but once again, it has a lot of spoilers, and this is a non-spoiler review for Thor Ragnarok. We will do later on a spoiler review, probably the week after the release, just after you guys could have a chance to go see the film. But yeah, I agree with you in certain parts. It is questionable, but you know what? This is the way I'm looking at it, and I talked to a few other press people. It's like, it's growing with its audience. Because the people who were 10 years old back then, when 2007, when the Marvel Universe first started, 2007, 2008, are now 17, 18, or 16. It kind of, the movies have grown with their fan base. as well as the adults and everybody else who have gotten into them. And also too, it's just the fact that in this film, we still don't want to get into too many spoilers, but in this film, you can see the beginnings of a change in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for what is to come.
Yes, and if you guys, if you guys have followed the comics, you know the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The minute you see this film, you will know exactly what we're talking about and why. Like right now, we're like very excited for what's about to come and what's gonna happen next. And you guys, the minute you watch it, you will instantly know what we're talking about. So I don't think we even have to say.
Because whenever you're dealing with Hela, the goddess of death, there's really no spoiler alert on that one, because she is the goddess of death. Says enough right there of what you're gonna see. And a lot of the changes that you're going to see coming in the MCU. So,
and honestly, I don't know if you've noticed, but nothing ever done in the MCU is by accident.
Yeah.
Everything shown, every comment made, anything that you kind of think like, oh, they just added it just to add it. No, everything has a point. Everything has a reason, and it gets you going, huh? Like, what could this show? Kind of like with the TV shows, where.
Well, I think that's where the brilliance of Kevin Feige and the people at Marvel. This was all planned. This was planned a long time ago. This whole sequence has a big plan around it. And I think that's why it's so successful. They created a plan, they implemented the plan, and now the plan is being executed correctly. Unlike some other movie studios we would like to name nameless that has a movie coming out next month that I'm kind of questioning. Trust me, if it doesn't launch in November, if this film, I know this film is going to do very well, and if the other film from the other studio doesn't do that one, I can already tell you right now, Thor Ragnarok, when it comes to superhero movies, at least will be #1 for November, and pretty much till the next Marvel movie comes out, which is Black Panther.
I was actually very excited to see.
Yeah.
I'm very excited because again, when they included the character, a lot of people. It's like, oh, they just included another one, but it's like, again, like you said, it shows the brilliance that is Kevin and all of the Marvel team, because it's like, yes, they included him in, but now they're gonna show you like just how important he is. I mean, everything has a reason.
And then also too, yesterday, which has already been said in the news, in many news outlets, we heard it directly from Mark Ruffalo himself on how about a Hulk standalone movie, and technically. Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers 4, putting those together and separate them is going to be kind of a Hulk arc. An arc to Hulk, and maybe not giving them a standalone movie, but within these three films, forming a standalone within Hulk and giving them higher stakes. So I think that's interesting, especially in that move. Overall, I definitely say get your tickets now and go watch it. It is by far a really good film. Definitely see a lot of potential on the growth and where we're going in the future. Thor Ragnarok for me, 2 thumbs up. Definitely go see it. For you?
Definitely. I mean, I thought it was well done. Story perfectly executed. Characters well developed. The scenes, the set, the look. I mean, yes, I would have preferred to see it in 3D also, because there were some scenes which you guys will also see that if you've seen 3D movies and then you see the pictures, you're going to realize, yes, this would have been amazing in 3D. But overall, I thought it was amazing. Well done. I mean, I've yet to be disappointed by a Marvel movie, and Thor has never really been in my top favorite. Like, if I was to list all of them, yes, I enjoy Thor films, but I gotta say with this particular film, I was like, if I had seen this one first before the other ones, I would have been like, Thor is my favorite.
Yeah, definitely. So stay tuned for more here on M.U.S.E. We'll be doing a spoiler review a week after Thor Ragnarok is released in theaters. And check out all our content here on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and take a look at some of the other videos that we have coming up very soon. And Star Wars is coming up, so stay tuned. We got some great films, Oscar award-winning films that we're going to be reviewing and seeing. So for Lidia, I'm Mike Sandoval. Stay tuned.